Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to the Super Barley Brothers podcast, where four middle-aged fathers discuss a range of nerdy things, including craft beer, video games, comics, movies, tech, and so forth. We hope you enjoy the show.
This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. We have no affiliation with any companies, individuals, or properties mentioned herein. Any trademarks or copyrights utilized belongs to those entities that it is associated with.
Hi guys, this is Ian, aka Fiend75002. Just thought I'd do a quick, short little spoken-only review for Wolfenstein: The New Order on the Xbox One. Just a quick little tidbit and jab at the guys that do this. So, if you notice here, it does state that I have a code to get into the Doom beta, and I didn't pre-order it. So, pre-orders amount to shit nowadays. Just saying that. So, this game here, this is a new tale in the franchise. I'm going to be honest with you. Wolfenstein 3D was the last Wolfenstein game I ever played. I didn't do I think it was 2009 on the 360 and PlayStation 4. I didn't play that one. So I don't know the tie-in between these two games, and apparently there is a tie-in. I think Death's Head, the big bad guy in this one, is actually referenced or came from that other game, and there's another character that you come across that was in that one. But that's besides the point. So, in this game, basically what happens is you are in World War II and you're fighting the evil Nazi dudes, and at some point you get knocked out for 14 years. It's a new order, where Nazi Germany has actually won World War II, and they've taken over the entire world. It's 1960s now with German influence on everything, music, everything along those lines, as you might have seen in some of the trailers where they had German groups cover old songs from back in the day. So it's a really interesting concept. Kind of gives just a very faint Red Dawn type of vibe for BJ Blazkowicz, because he wakes up. He was actually technically kind of awake. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers, and I'm sorry if I say some. But he kind of comes to and becomes more active in this world where everything has already gone to shit, and he has to locate a resistance group, because he's not going to put up with this shit. He didn't end up in the vegetative state he was in because he sat back and let shit go sideways. He decided that he was going to revolt and do some fighting. Let me get into how it looks. It looks really, really good, and I'm not trying to be biased. I've not seen it on the PlayStation 4. I've not seen it on PC at max settings. I've not seen it on, I don't even know if it's out on old gen, but I haven't seen it there. So this is the only place that I've seen it is on the Xbox One, and I thought it looked really good. Although, when you transition between cutscene to gameplay, there is a huge decline in visual fidelity. When you go into a cutscene, since it is CGI and pre-rendered, it comes out of the game engine. The game engine looks beautiful, but the CGI cinematics, not so much. They look like they were done and optimized to be able to run on older systems or lower running systems. So it doesn't look as good. With that being said, when you are in engine, there are things that are just amazing, and to a few certain points in the game, there's a few things that look just horribly disturbing. And with that being said, also I need to give a good thumbs up to the guys that did the audio on the game, because there was a point in the game when someone was basically trying to speak to you with a mouthful of liquid. I'll just leave it at that. You guys got to play the game to figure out what that is, or YouTube it, because most people do that anyways, or Twitch, yes. So let's get down to the gameplay. I thought the gameplay was fun. I usually, when I play a first-person shooter, I play it on the default settings. I don't mess with anything with any of the sensitivity or things along those lines. I did go into this one playing it on normal. Usually I go into a game the first time just playing it on easy because I want to get the story out of the way. But since this was one of the first games, no, it's not one of the first games. It was a game that I purchased for the sole intent to stream, so I didn't want to look like a pussy in front of everybody that was watching, which wasn't that many people, but that's besides the point. So, where was I? Damn it. In this one I actually had to adjust the sensitivity of the Y and X axis to get him to move just a little bit faster. So it is something that you may have to spend a little time with adjusting to get him to feel right. Even still, by the end of the game, it didn't feel quite tight enough for me. But again, I usually deal with just the default settings, so I don't know if I had spent more time with it, the gun mechanics might have become a little bit crisper, a little bit tighter. The item pickup stuff, if you've seen any other reviews, you know that when you come across an item such as ammunition, armor, health, anything along those lines, you actually have to hit a button to pick it up. Now, I can understand that for key items like a health upgrade, or you need to go find this file for someone, and when you do so, you have to actually pick up the file, like initialize the pickup of the file, because that could then kick off some type of cinematic or something along those lines. But when I walk over ammunition, in my opinion, I think I should just be able to pick it up. It should automatically come into my inventory. That's how it was in the original Wolfenstein, if I'm not mistaken. Wolfenstein 3D, I'm sorry, not the original Wolfenstein. It was always you just walk over it and you've got it. Again, in this one, there's like these big hulking robot-esque, or Nazis in suits, and when you defeat them, their armor falls off, and you're able to walk around and collect the armor for your armor. The only problem is you have to stop and press X on each and every one of them. Now, like another reviewer, I basically just walked around a room when I know that there's stuff that I want to pick up, and just tap the X button the entire time, because I knew, if I could pick it up, I would pick it up. There is no cover mechanic, which is fine, because, this, as a lot of people have others said, it is a game where it starts to look more, or it starts to look and play a lot more like the old games, like first-person shooters about 10 years ago or so. So it does have a lot of that kind of stuff. It does have destructible environments, to the point where if you do take up a position behind something, sometimes that environment or that thing could fall apart. Like I found myself fighting one of these big robots that I was referring to earlier. I was on a catwalk and went running out on it, and noticed that there was like a little, not a barricade, but like a thing that was draped over the side of it, so that it would it cut off my field of vision to the guy that was down there, to the robot. And I went ahead and hit the crouch button so that I was hiding behind the thing. Well, he saw me do that, so he started shooting, and his projectile, lasers, whatever you want to call it, they were passing through it, and they were hitting me, and that was a very frustrating situation in my book. But it does lend a certain kind of keep moving to it. Unfortunately, he doesn't move as fast as, say, like the pilots in Titanfall. Doesn't have that kind of agility either, of course. I don't think anybody does, but Ezio. So, you can run. It never felt like it was running fast enough, in my opinion. Again, Call of Duty and Titanfall are the big ones that I play a lot of, so I'm going to kind of put this one along those lines as far as when I'm talking about certain mechanics that are common through all. Now, when it comes to the guns themselves, the sound on the guns also was really, really good. Also, when you do hit someone with a bullet, you know that you're hitting them with a bullet, because you get a good, nice, chunky sound. You can dual wield. I gotta admit, I didn't dual wield all that much, because I am very used to viewing down the sights, and if you dual wield, it's, one trigger, one gun. But if you don't, then you can view down the sights, which by the end of the game I didn't find myself doing, but I wasn't dual wielding just to conserve ammunition, because this game is not it's not like Serious Sam, to the point where you just have a shit ton of ammunition everywhere and you're able to just run around picking it up and throwing it back at the enemies. You do have to, since you have to click on the X button to pick up ammunition, you do have to kind of conserve until you find a lull to where you can actually go around picking up ammunition. Now, I mean, this would lead to the point where you can also do like the stealth aspects of it, and I'm not a huge stealth gamer, but if you give me the option of stealth, I'm going to go that route. There was a point, though, very early on that I was stealthing, and I was trying to sneak up on somebody, and I clicked in on the stab button, but I wasn't close enough, so it didn't give me the prompt to do that. What happened is I threw my knife past the guy and hit it on the wall. So of course he turned around, and then the three other guys that were in the room that I didn't see turned around, and well, that was a game that was a game over screen for me. So um, that's another thing I didn't like is one time I attempted to throw the knife, and again, like Call of Duty, I thought it would be just, my target's on there. As long as I'm within a fairly decent distance, I will hit him with it. I actually tried to hit someone from on top of stairs. I was coming down some stairs. He was standing in a doorway. There was a window that was broken out through the doorway. I tried to throw the knife and hit him in the back of the head. I hit the door, and as you can guess, there was another game over screen for me. This makes it sound like I'm not good at games. I'm actually not good at games. So, the story is actually what really, really kept me going with the game. The gameplay was fun. Some of the mechanics don't really care that much for, especially the picking up items. I wish there was like maybe a setting in there where you can make it so that you could just walk right over it and it picks it up. That would have been awesome. But the story in this game was really, really good. I really, really started to feel attached to the characters. There is a certain there's technically a 2 timeline thing in this game. At one point early on in the game, you get the choice to kill or save one of the guys that's with you, and this is before you do the 15-year sleep. So whoever you save, you eventually meet back up with again. Now that's not a spoiler. That's been in one of the trailers if you paid close attention. And so I have played through it on one playthrough, and there was a very interesting interaction with the guy that I saved, referring to the guy that I didn't save throughout it. And just the way it was acted, the way it was written, I thought it was really good. There's this really, really interesting character that's in there, in your hub world that I can only say that she's very interesting. By the end of the game, I was actually really rooting for her. When I first met her, I could have given 2 shits. I would have put a bullet through her myself. And it could possibly be the last Wolfenstein game, at least for BJ Blazkowicz, is storyline. So there's always the possibility of another alternate storyline or something along those lines. There is a slight Easter egg at the end of the credits, if you watch all the way through to the end. There is a love interest that was very interesting. Although there's some really twisted shit that you'll see from the point of the from the Nazis. Like at one point you do end up in a labor camp, and that was in there. There's some fairly disturbing imagery. And then there's a certain scene on a train that haunts me to this day. It's really hard to say. So let me, because I'm rattling on just a little bit too long, so let me go ahead and just wrap this up. All in all, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great game. It's unfortunate that it came out like right before Watch Dogs, because it was one of these things where I played through it once and I didn't play it through twice. Because I was excited to get into Watch Dogs, which will be another game that will either be discussed on the Super Barley Brothers podcast, might be reviewed singly, might be reviewed dually with somebody else, but I'm getting off topic. So, Wolfenstein New Order, I actually really dug it. How would I break it down as far as a price concern? I would say on sale or used. If you haven't bought it yet, then you're not going to rush right out and get it based on what I say. I would just say maybe wait for a sale, wait for it to be used, preferably wait for a sale. That way, the developers still get money for it in some way, shape, or form. But it was a really good game. I really enjoyed it. I kind of can't wait to see what Machine Games comes out with next, what their next project is. There is no multiplayer in this, so that's why all I talked about was the single player, vaguely, kind of, sort of, maybe. So there was all that. I kind of give it, I'd say 3 out of 5. If I had to give it something along those lines. I did really enjoy it though, so don't think that I'm knocking it. I really like the game. It's just it's not a 5 because I'm not telling you to buy it right away. I'm telling you to wait for a sale. So that's it. So those are my thoughts on it. I will probably do another one of these once this Doom beta kicks off. I'll probably do a short little standalone thing. I might bring it up with the guys on the Super Barley Brothers podcast. Might not. So just let me know what you guys are thinking. Tell me if this was stupid, idiotic. This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Feel free to give me any comments. Constructive criticism is always accepted. Flame and trolling is always expected. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and also check us out on Facebook. I think it's facebook.com/group/SuperBarleyBros. Check us out there. Check us out for the Super Barley Brothers podcast every couple of weeks or so. Sometimes we have limitations that we have to live within, and unfortunately we have weird schedules. We're all dads, so that kind of situation. Also, I'm not sure exactly where you're seeing this. If you're seeing it on YouTube, give me a like. Give us a like. Give me a comment. Give me something. Give us a subscription. There's a button somewhere around here. I hate doing that. That is stupid. Everybody does that on YouTube. If you are watching this on the website that we're affiliated with, which is the Cons, Freaks, and Geeks, thank you. Thank you for swinging by. Again, if you're watching this and you're on that website and you're doing cosplay, Battle Angel Alita, please. Okay, nope. So that's everything I got. 3 out of 5. I dug it. 5 would have to be like an amazing fucking game, and I don't have one that I could just pull out of the thin air and say 5. But I don't know. Final Fantasy 7 might possibly be one of those types of 5 type of games. I don't know. Or Metroid, Super Metroid, one of those. Other than that, I do appreciate you taking the time. Man, I'm rattling on. I'm sorry. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and look forward to more of these. Feel free to give us a shout out, comment, whatever. Have a good one. Thanks for playing.
You've been listening to the Super Barley Brothers podcast. Join the conversation utilizing Super Barley Bros on WordPress, Poddy, YouTube, Google+, Gmail, and on their Facebook group. On iTunes, Super Barley Brothers. Leave any kind of comments, questions, suggestions, concerns, etc. Individually, we can be reached on Twitter, Jerry, JD_Chef, Ian, Fiend75002, also on Twitch, John, Phoenix42, that's PH03NIX42, and Scott, Flip42, FL1P42, also on Twitch. See you in a couple weeks.